He played you, left you confused, broken, questioning your worth. Good, because now it's time for his karma to dress in heels, walk with silence, and make him regret losing a woman he'll never find again. Ladies, let's be clear. When a man plays you, he's not just disrespecting your love. He's gambling with a blessing he didn't even deserve in the first place. And when he realizes it, it won't be because you begged, blocked, or broke down. It'll be because you became that woman. The one who leveled up silently and made healing your loudest revenge. Because listen to me carefully. You don't need to destroy him. You just need to rebuild you. Let him watch. Let him wish. Let him wonder. He thought you'd stay stuck? No, darling. Your movement, not a moment. And the worst punishment for a man who played you is seeing you win without even whispering his name. Silence is not the absence of power, it is the presence of it. In a world where everyone is screaming to be heard, the woman who speaks with her silence commands the loudest attention. When someone plays you, manipulates your love, breaks your trust, your instinct may be to lash out, to explain, to seek closure. But the truth is, closure doesn't come from confrontation. It comes from inner clarity. And nothing delivers that clarity like silence. Silence is strength. It's dignity wrapped in calm. It's telling the world, I don't owe you my voice, my pain, or my explanation. Because silence isn't weakness, it's evolution. Look at the lioness. She doesn't roar every time someone threatens her. She watches, she waits, and when the time is right, she moves powerfully, silently, without warning. Think about this. Have you ever walked away from someone who wronged you without sending that last text, without that dramatic call, without trying to prove your worth one last time? That silence, that dignified withdrawal, it speaks volumes. It makes the other person question, reflect, wonder. Because the moment you go quiet, people start realizing the weight of your presence. And more importantly, the emptiness of your absence. Here's something powerful. Silence is not passive. It's active discipline. It's the ability to choose your peace over your pride. That's strength. And in daily life, you see it everywhere. When your coworker tries to drag you into gossip, and you just smile and keep walking. When your ex sends a half-hearted, I miss you text at 2 a.m., and you leave it on read. Because your self-worth doesn't respond to breadcrumbs. When someone disrespects your boundaries, and instead of explaining them again, you simply remove access. That's silence in motion. That's divine restraint. That's the kind of power that doesn't shout, it echoes. Think of the woman at a family gathering who's constantly judged for her life choices. Everyone's got an opinion. Marriage, children, career, appearance. She doesn't argue. She doesn't fight. She shows up in grace, in elegance, in confidence. Her silence says, you may talk about me, that is what silence does. It confuses noise with elegance. Let's talk relationships. When a man plays you, disrespects your love, breaks your spirit. Silence is the bulletproof vest you wear, not to hide from the pain, but to protect your healing. Silence tells him, you don't get to hear my pain. You don't get to see me break. You don't deserve my words anymore. Because silence cuts deeper than insults. Silence leaves him replaying every memory, trying to decode what went wrong. And that's the beginning of his regret. Remember this. People expect noise. They expect drama. They feed off your reaction. When you give them none, you starve their ego. You flip the script. And instead of you being the broken one, begging for clarity, he becomes the haunted one, left with questions that will never be answered. Use silence like a weapon, not to hurt, but to heal. Let your absence remind them of what your presence once meant. Let your glow, your growth, your grace speak for you. Because while anger fades and words are forgotten, silence lingers. It keeps people up at night. It humbles the arrogant. It stuns the manipulator. It commands the respect they never gave you. So the next time someone plays with your emotions, remember, silence isn't defeat. It's your greatest comeback in disguise. And the world will see it, not in your words, but in your unstoppable evolution, upgrading your life without saying a word. Now that is true power. When someone has played you, the most explosive comeback is not found in arguments, not in confrontations, but in the silent transformation of your entire existence. It's the kind of glow up that doesn't need explanations, captions, or applause. It simply happens and the world notices. When you focus on improving your life, your mindset, your goals, and your happiness, you send a message far louder than any angry text or social media rant ever could. Because real change speaks for itself. Imagine the woman who was heartbroken, left wondering why she wasn't enough. Then, suddenly, months later, she walks into a room like a force of nature. The same woman who once felt invisible now carries herself with such confidence, such grace, such undeniable power that people can't stop staring. The man who played her? He sees her success like a mirror reflecting his own failures. And that's when regret quietly begins to take root. Because nothing stings more than watching the person you underestimated become unstoppable without uttering a single word about the past. Upgrading your life means focusing on your growth while they're stuck in the same old patterns. It means investing your time, energy, and love into the things and people that lift you higher. Whether it's starting that passion project you always dreamed of, hitting the gym, not to impress anyone but to feel stronger, or traveling to new places to discover parts of yourself you never knew existed. When you channel your heartbreak into action, every step forward is a statement. You don't need to announce it because your success is the loudest language you can speak. Think about the small, everyday moments that show this transformation. The woman who used to spend her nights crying over texts now spends them reading books, learning new skills, or meditating. Her phone is no longer filled with messages from a past that hurt her. It's filled with reminders of her goals and visions. She doesn't post about her pain because she's too busy living her purpose. That shift in energy, it's magnetic. It pulls the right people, the right opportunities, and the right blessings into her life. And it leaves the past where it belongs, in the dust. There's a story of a woman who was once overshadowed by her partner's doubts and disrespect. Instead of pleading for respect or proving her worth, she decided to focus on building her own empire. She went back to school, started her own business, and surrounded herself with mentors who believed in her. Years later, she walks into events as a successful entrepreneur, glowing with self-made confidence. She never had to tell him she won. Her life screamed it louder than any words ever could. And when he finally realized what he lost, the regret was crushing because she had already moved on, upgraded beyond his reach. Upgrading your life without saying a word also means mastering emotional control. It's not about hiding your feelings, but about choosing where to put your energy. Every time you engage in drama, you give power back to someone who played you. But when you choose silence, self-care, and progress, you reclaim that power. Think about someone who gets triggered by a toxic ex. But instead of reacting, they turn their focus inward, working on their health, learning new things, building friendships, and setting new goals. That internal shift makes the external glow unstoppable. There's something deeply inspiring about the woman who chooses to rise instead of rant. Society may pressure you to explain your pain, to justify your silence, or to react to hurt. But the strongest women know better. They choose transformation over explanation, evolution over reaction. When they step into their full power silently, it makes people uncomfortable, especially those who underestimated them. Because nothing makes someone regret playing you more than watching you become everything they thought you never could be. Upgrade your life by living on a higher frequency. Surround yourself with people who bring out your best. Change the energy of your space. Adopt habits that fuel your mind, body, and soul. Every healthy meal, every morning workout, every book read, every sunrise watched in peace. These are the bricks of your new life. No words needed. The new you will shine so brightly that anyone from your past will have no choice but to wonder what happened and why they lost something so powerful. When you stop seeking validation from the one who played you and start seeking growth for yourself, you unlock a new level of freedom. You break the cycle of pain and disappointment and step into a version of yourself that is unshakable. This transformation is the ultimate form of revenge, not bitterness or anger, but undeniable success and happiness. It's the silent announcement that you are more than your past, more than his mistake, and more than any betrayal. Remember, people will try to keep you small because your growth threatens their comfort zones. But the woman who upgrades her life quietly is the woman who rewrites the rules. She becomes a living proof that strength doesn't have to shout, it just needs to rise higher, faster and stronger than anyone ever expected. When someone plays you, the hardest battle is not with them. It's the battle inside your own mind. The endless loop of memories, the what ifs, the late night conversations replaying in your head. But here's the truth that changes everything. Every moment you spent thinking about him, reliving his betrayal, you are draining your energy from the one place that holds your real power, your purpose. Your purpose is the only thing worthy of your time, your heart, your soul. Imagine this. Your mind is like a garden. If you plant seeds of hurt, anger, and regret, what will grow? Weeds, thorns, poison. But if you choose to plant seeds of ambition, growth, and self-love, your garden will bloom beyond what you ever imagined. The choice is yours. You can either water the memories of someone who didn't deserve you, or pour that energy into building your own empire. Think about people you admire, those who shine no matter what storms they face. They don't waste time mourning what's lost. They're too busy creating what's next. Whether it's the artist who paints masterpieces after heartbreak, or the entrepreneur who launches a business after betrayal, or the athlete who trains harder after every fall, they all have one thing in common. They give their energy to their purpose, not to painful memories. There was a young woman who lost everything she thought was love. Instead of sinking into sadness, she turned to her passion for writing. Every page she wrote was a brick laid in the foundation of her future. She didn't write about him. She wrote about her dreams, her resilience, her vision. And soon, her words reached thousands who needed that hope. She transformed pain into purpose. And that's the magic. The more you focus on your growth, the less room there is for his shadow to linger. Your energy is your most valuable currency. Think about how you spend it daily. Do you give hours to scrolling through old photos, replaying conversations, wondering where it went wrong? Or do you give those hours to learning a new skill, investing in your health, connecting with people who lift you higher? The energy you give defines the life you build. Imagine a candle burning. When you focus on memories that hurt, you burn yourself out slowly, flickering and fading. But when you pour your energy into your goals, that candle burns bright and steady. A beacon for everything you want to attract. Every morning you get a choice. Invest your energy in the past or invest it in your future. And your future is where your true power lies. The man who played you is a closed chapter, but your purpose is the book still being written, filled with unlimited potential. Look at nature. Trees don't grow by clinging to fallen leaves. They shed what's dead to make room for new growth. You have to do the same with memories that weigh you down. Let them go so your roots can dig deeper into what truly matters. When your energy flows into your purpose, something incredible happens. Your mindset shifts. You stop seeing yourself as a victim and start seeing yourself as a creator. You stop asking why me and start declaring watch me. You become unstoppable because your energy is aligned with your vision, not your pain. Think about the woman who trains for a marathon after a painful break. Every step she runs is a step away from his memory and a step toward her strength. Or the artist who channels heartbreak into breathtaking paintings that inspire millions. Or the student who studies relentlessly, determined to build a life he tried to shatter. They all made a choice to redirect their energy from pain to purpose, and that choice changed everything. Energy invested in your purpose multiplies. It builds confidence, attracts opportunities, and creates momentum. Energy wasted on memories chains you to a past that no longer serves you. You can't change what happened, but you can control what you do next. Remember, your life is your message to the world. When you focus on purpose, your energy becomes a force that can't be ignored. It turns scars into stars and pain into power. So channel your strength, fuel your dreams, and watch how life responds to the energy you give. In a world obsessed with drama and pain, choosing to post your glow instead of your pain is an act of rebellion, a powerful declaration that your story is not defined by what broke you, but by what made you rise. When someone plays you, when your heart shatters and your trust is shattered like glass, the natural urge is to broadcast that hurt, to seek sympathy, to let the world know how deeply you were wounded. But here's the secret that few understand. Your pain is private, your glow is public. The pain is a seed for your transformation, but the glow, that's the harvest you share with the world. Think about this. Social media and life alike are filled with noise, tears, and confessions. But the woman who chooses to post her glow stands out. She becomes magnetic, not because she's flawless, but because she refuses to let pain. She posts her progress, her happiness, her success, not to brag, but to remind herself and others that healing is real and powerful. There was a woman who went through a heartbreak so deep it almost broke her spirit. Instead of flooding her timeline with complaints or sad quotes, she started posting pictures of her new hobbies: cooking, hiking, painting. Her feed became a diary of rebirth, a collection of moments where she chose joy over despair. Slowly, her followers began to see the transformation. They didn't just witness pain, they witnessed power. Posting the glow doesn't mean denying your pain. It means owning your pain privately while publicly celebrating your growth. It means understanding that your pain is a stepping stone, not a throne. You don't need to parade your scars for validation. Your glow is your badge of honor, proof that you didn't just survive, you thrived. In daily life, this looks like the woman who stops talking about the betrayal and starts talking about her new business venture. It's the man who stops complaining about lost love and starts sharing his fitness journey. It's the student who stops drowning in self-pity and posts about the scholarship they just earned. The world doesn't need another story of sorrow. It needs a story of hope, strength, and unapologetic joy. There's a powerful dialogue to remember. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control how much you let it dim your life. Your glow is not just for you. It's a beacon for others who are lost in their darkness. When you post your glow, you inspire someone to keep fighting, to keep believing in themselves. Consider the butterfly. It spends time in darkness, in a cocoon, transforming silently. When it emerges, it doesn't show the struggle, it shows the beauty. Your glow is your butterfly moment. It's the proof that pain is temporary, but transformation is eternal. Choosing to post your glow is also a way to reclaim your narrative. When a man plays you, he tries to write your story with his lies and disrespect. But you take the pen back. You write a new chapter, filled with light, laughter, and limitless possibilities. Your glow is your story, told on your terms. There's a profound wisdom in the way you present yourself. When you focus on the pain, you anchor yourself to the past. When you focus on your glow, you set your sights on the future. This shift in focus changes everything. Your energy, your mindset, your reality. Imagine a woman who was once known for her tears but now is known for her triumphs. People stop asking what happened and start asking how she did it. That's the power of posting your glow. You become a symbol of strength, a living example that life after pain is not just possible, it's beautiful. Remember, the world doesn't need your suffering, it needs your strength. It doesn't need your pity, it needs your power. When you post your glow, you light a path for others to follow. And that's the most beautiful revenge you can have against anyone who ever played you. Living your best life, shining so bright that they can only watch and regret. Before you look for someone else to complete you, the most important relationship you need to nurture is the one you have with yourself. Dating yourself first isn't about selfishness. It's about self-respect, self-love, and setting the foundation for every other connection in your life. When someone plays you, when trust is broken, it's easy to spiral into seeking validation from others to fill the void. But the real healing begins when you learn to be your own best company. When you date yourself with the same passion and care you once reserved for someone else. Imagine waking up and planning a date with you, not with anyone else, but with your own soul. What would that look like? Maybe it's a quiet morning walk where you listen to your thoughts without judgment. Maybe it's cooking your favorite meal just because you deserve it. Maybe it's curling up with a book that inspires you, or treating yourself to that little luxury you always hesitated to buy. Dating yourself means honoring your own needs and desires without apology. Think about how often you make plans with friends or partners but neglect the most important person in your life, yourself. When you start dating yourself first, you build a relationship rooted in self-awareness and acceptance. You get to know your likes, dislikes, boundaries, and dreams on a deeper level. You learn to appreciate your own company so much that being alone no longer feels like loneliness, but a choice. There was a woman who had been hurt by someone she loved deeply. Instead of jumping into another relationship or chasing after attention, she dedicated 6 months to dating herself. She spent time exploring her passions, traveling solo, and setting goals. Slowly, her confidence blossomed. She realized she didn't need someone else to validate her worth because she was whole on her own. And when she finally chose to be with someone again, it was from a place of strength, not desperation. Dating yourself first also means setting standards and boundaries. When you truly value your own time and energy, you refuse to settle for less than you deserve. You learn to say no to toxic relationships, manipulative people, and anything that threatens your peace. You realize that your happiness isn't dependent on another person's approval, but on your own choices. In everyday life, dating yourself can look like turning off your phone during dinner to enjoy your meal without distraction. It can mean taking a day off work to focus on self-care, whether that's a spa day, meditation, or simply resting. It can mean journaling your thoughts and dreams, allowing yourself to reflect and grow. These acts of self-dating build a reservoir of love and confidence that no heartbreak can drain. There's a powerful dialogue to remember. You can't pour from an empty cup. If you don't love yourself first, how can you expect someone else to love you fully? By dating yourself, you fill that cup with patience, kindness, and understanding. You become your own biggest fan, your own protector, your own partner in this journey called life. Think about the people who have stood the test of time and heartbreak. They didn't fall apart because they had cultivated a deep, loving relationship with themselves. Their happiness didn't depend on external validation. Their self-worth was rooted in their own hearts. This is the power of dating yourself first. When you start loving your own company, you also attract healthier relationships. People who come into your life see your confidence, your joy, your independence, and they want to be a part of that energy, not fill a void. You stop chasing after people who don't value you because you have already found your value within. Imagine a world where everyone dated themselves first, where self-love was the foundation of every relationship. There would be fewer broken hearts, less dependency, and more authentic connections. You become a trailblazer when you prioritize yourself. You lead by example and inspire others to do the same. Dating yourself is not just a practice, it's a lifestyle. It's the ultimate form of self-care and self-respect. It's how you reclaim your power after someone played you. It's how you build a life that no one else can break because it's built on the strongest foundation: your own love for yourself. Forgiving someone who has played you is one of the most powerful acts of strength you can ever do. But forgiving doesn't mean erasing the memory or the lesson. Forgiveness is about freeing your own heart from the burden of bitterness and anger. It's a gift you give yourself, not the person who hurt you. Yet the lesson you learn must be etched deep into your soul, like a compass guiding your future decisions. To forgive without forgetting the lesson is to walk forward with wisdom, not wounds. In life, there are moments when someone's betrayal cuts so deeply, it feels like your trust was stolen, your innocence shattered. The natural reaction might be to hold on to resentment, replay the hurt over and over in your mind, hoping they suffer too. But that cycle only chains you to the past, keeping you a prisoner of pain. Forgiveness is the key that unlocks your chains, allowing you to breathe freely again. It doesn't mean you excuse their behavior, nor does it mean you invite them back into your life. It simply means you choose peace over poison. Imagine a young woman who was betrayed by a close friend. The pain was unbearable, but instead of wallowing in anger, she chose to forgive quietly within herself. She told herself, "I forgive you, not because you deserve it, but because I deserve peace." However, she never forgot the lesson. She learned to trust more cautiously, to value herself more fiercely, and to recognize the signs she had missed. Forgiveness gave her peace, but the lesson gave her protection. Forgiving but never forgetting means you carry your experiences as armor, not as weight. It's the difference between carrying a shield or carrying a ball and chain. When you forgive, you let go of the anger and the desire for revenge. When you remember the lesson, you don't repeat the same mistakes. You don't allow the same people to hurt you again. You grow smarter, stronger, and more self-aware. Think about how often people forgive but forget too soon. They open their hearts too. So sometimes they lose what they forget, but they open their hearts too. So one day, there's a moment called bad time. The 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 moment called bad time. Quickly, overlooking red flags, hoping for change that never comes. Forgiveness is a step toward healing, but forgetting the lesson is a step backward into vulnerability. The true power is in balancing both, releasing the pain and holding on to the wisdom. In everyday life, this can look like forgiving a partner who was unfaithful, but never ignoring the warning signs that led to the betrayal. It can mean forgiving a colleague who sabotaged you, but never trusting them with your secrets again. It can be forgiving yourself for past mistakes, but never forgetting the lesson that made you wiser. There's a dialogue worth repeating. Forgive to heal, remember to protect. Your heart deserves healing, but your soul demands growth. When you forgive, you reclaim your power. When you remember, you defend that power. Imagine the pain of a child betrayed by a friend at school. The child forgives but remembers to be cautious the next time. That child grows into an adult who understands the value of trust and the cost of betrayal. This is the wisdom that comes from forgiving but never forgetting. Forgiveness without learning the lesson is like giving a thief a second chance without locking the door. The world isn't always kind, and not everyone deserves your trust. When someone plays you, forgiving them releases your anger, but remembering the lesson builds your armor. It's about that armor doesn't make you bitter, it makes you wise. Consider the story of a woman who forgave the man who broke her heart, but remembered how he treated her. She used that memory to set boundaries and never settle for less than she deserved. Her forgiveness healed her soul, but the lesson transformed her pain into power. Your heart is a garden. Forgiveness waters the flowers of peace and freedom. The lessons you remember build the fence that keeps out the weeds of pain and betrayal. Together, they create a sanctuary where you can flourish without fear. When you forgive, you break the chains that bind your spirit. When you remember the lesson, you build the wisdom that guides your steps. This is the dance of strength. Letting go of the past's poison while carrying its gift of wisdom. You have faced the storm. You have felt the sting of betrayal. You have stood at the crossroads of pain and power. And now you choose the path of a warrior, not one who fights with fists, but one who conquers with spirit. Remember this: what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Every scar you carry is a badge of honor, a testament that you survived what others feared would break you. And surviving, thriving is your destiny. Let this be your anthem. Your value doesn't decrease based on someone's inability to see your worth. When someone plays you, it is their loss, not yours. They played a game of deception, but you hold the prize. Your integrity, your dignity, your unstoppable self. Stand tall, knowing that your worth was never in their hands to begin with. The only approval you need is from yourself. Think about the legends, the icons, the fearless souls who rose from ashes. Oprah Winfrey once said, "Turn your wounds into wisdom." You too have the power to transform your heartbreak into your highest breakthrough. Pain is not your enemy, complacency is. Let every painful chapter write a story of resilience, courage, and unstoppable growth. You are not defined by what happened to you, but by how you choose to rise after it. Remember the words of Maya Angelou, who taught us that we may encounter many defeats, but we must not be defeated. In the face of betrayal, do not surrender your spirit. Let every tear water the seeds of your strength. When you look in the mirror, see not the pain, but the fighter, the queen, the unstoppable force you are becoming. Your story is still being written, and it's going to be legendary. You have the power to rewrite your narrative. You have the power to walk away from those who played you and walk confidently into your future. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. This is your moment to choose courage over fear, growth over grief, and freedom over chains. Your future is a canvas, and every bold stroke you make is a declaration of your worth and your strength. Think about Nelson Mandela's journey. Imprisoned, broken, yet unbowed. He said, "The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall." You are rising right now. You may have been played, but you will never be defeated. You will never be less than you were created to be. In fact, the very act of choosing to rise, to forgive but never forget, to love yourself first, that is the definition of power. So carry this with you always. Life doesn't get easier or more forgiving. We get stronger and more resilient. The betrayal you endured was not a curse but a catalyst. It is a fire that melts away your fears and forges a stronger, wiser, more radiant you. Embrace that power. Own your story. Claim your victory. As you move forward, speak these words daily. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. Let that be your mantra when the world tries to pull you back into doubt or pain. You are the author of your destiny, the captain of your soul, and the queen of your own story. No one can steal your light unless you give them the switch. Rise with pride, shine with confidence, and walk into your future knowing this: your greatest days are ahead. You are not broken, you are becoming. You are not lost, you are found. And you are not defeated, you are unstoppable. This is your time. This is your moment. Let the world see you glow so fiercely that those who played you are left to watch and regret. Because you chose yourself and built an empire of strength, love, and unshakable power.